Hello, everybody. I have the privilege of introducing Dr. Christopher Liu from Houston, Texas. He is an ex-orthopedic surgeon and a serial entrepreneur and investor. He's made millions of dollars from just doing multiple different things. Talk about multiple streams of income, and I'm very happy and grateful to be presenting let him present himself to you today. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Elsie. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm really happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much, Chris. You've been on that summit, the Leverage and Growth Summit for Physicians. I think it's wonderful. He's summarizing all of the different talks that are going on every few days. You guys need to check that out. Chris, there's a lot to Chris that you don't know, and I don't even know. I can't even keep a handle on what he does, but he's been able to grow such wealth in multiple sectors of his life. So Chris, can you just share with us where have you accumulated your wealth? What are the things that you're doing now, and also teaching other physicians how to do?
Yeah, so right now, the majority of my income comes from my passive investments. I've spent a long time growing up. I started two companies investing in real estate and stocks, and after I left orthopedics, I really scaled those two aspects of my company up. So right now, equities and real estate make up 70% of my income through passive income. So it's something that I don't really have to actively work for. So it sort of funds my life and my lifestyle right now. And I started my digital health consulting company in 2017, focused on establishing efficient electronic health records, and also how to best educate physicians and staff on how to use it and how to take the data and information from the records and apply it to outcomes, prognosis, and treatments. So right now, the remaining 30% comes from a lot of my consulting assignments with the hospitals. Another aspect comes from my position as an advisory board member for AI health technology startups. And then other than that, I've got passive investments from the 4 books I've written. I just launched my online course, and I'm gearing up for a lot of creating another revenue stream through content affiliate marketing. So I think I have about 8 or 9 streams of income, and I'm trying to always developing more.
Chris, how do you find the time to do all of this? And second of all, how did you maybe start from, how do you even thought of doing this? Why did you leave medicine? What happened?
Yeah, so a lot of it, it's once you're able to separate time from money, so you're not really actively working for a paycheck, that frees up a lot of your time to really pursue your true passion. So one thing was I went to medical school because I grew up at the cusp of the industrial and information age. So a lot of teaching and a lot of conditioning was to become a doctor so that you could have a nice income, a stable job, a lifestyle, etc. But a lot of things were happening. For example, 9/11, and then the financial crisis, and now COVID. So I saw even during medical school that our way of living in society and our way of doing things were becoming extremely unstable and disruptive, and a lot of ways of thinking and doing things weren't going to be really applicable in 20 to 30 years. I also saw how managed care was coming in, and it was sort of destroying physician autonomy, destroying physician independence. It was commoditizing physicians' knowledge and labor, so physicians could become more easily replaceable. So I saw that early on. So that was one of the reasons why I decided to start my 2 companies on the side, so that in case anything ever happened with my career, I would always have those income streams to fall back on. The other thing was I had other passions. I was more interested, I went into medicine more for the stability and to the income and to, provide economically, but it wasn't what I was truly passionate about. I was more interested in business and entrepreneurship and creative endeavors. So I had a lot of other interests. But I think medicine gave me a lot of background and a lot of skill sets that are easily translatable into other fields, for example, investing or entrepreneurship or even other things, because a lot of the success traits that we all have are can be easily applicable to other endeavors. So,
Absolutely. I think um, there's a lot of physicians who love the clinical work.
uh-huh,
And we see that from the summit, that they love the clinical work, but they have not been able to make the income that to pay off their loans and to live the life that they dreamt of having.
uh-huh.
So can you talk a little bit about how, you know, there are physicians who still want to practice medicine there. It seems like if they just had a better handle on the finance piece, they would be able to enjoy medicine more. Have you
Mhm.
seen that?
Yeah, so I've done a lot of studying and reading, and I've talked to a lot of physicians, a lot of colleagues. So one thing that really contributes to physician burden and sort of lack of quality, lack of enjoyment is their finances. So uh, another thing I've noticed is that we as physicians, as a cohort, don't really have a solid financial literacy. So that's something I really advocate. Before medical school, during and after medical school, these we should be educating ourselves about just basic finances. So, student loan debt and just basic, you know, income, expenses, assets, liabilities. So, but the thing is that once a physician gets his or her handle on finances, then his or her quality of life will be much better because they have more options. So, they'll be doing medicine not because they're tied to the paycheck or they have to provide for their family or their mortgage or things like that, but they're actually doing it because they enjoy patient care. So, a lot of it starts with don't get yourself into too much student loan debt, the appropriate use of debt. Because I read one article on New York Times, there was one guy, he was touting, he was like 600, $700,000 in student loan debt. And, he was like proud of it. But actually, if you look at that, that's not very financially sound because if anything happens, he's liable for that, that amount. So,
Right. And not just literacy in terms of learning other sources of income, but your clinical job. And what I teach also is how to be savvy about what you're worth, what you're getting paid for,
uh-huh.
and learning the business of medicine so that you're even more influential in your organization with the business leaders. So you can talk in a way and promote certain devices or pharmaceuticals or whatever it is that you want to provide in your organization and be able to speak to it in the language of the leaders who are making the decisions so you can make an impact on how that care is being delivered. Because you need to understand the language of the person you're speaking to. Those business leaders who are sitting at the top telling us what to do and be able to go up there and say, hey, I don't think you understand what it means that you're taking this particular tool away. Why we even need digital X-rays versus conventional X-rays, and what that means in terms of what we can do for the X-ray tech, because now we can digitalize everything. And back in the day, that's what people have had to do. They have to convince. You have to know how to convince and talk to leaders in a different way by learning financial literacy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more empowered, the more knowledgeable you are, the more informed you are, the better and smarter decisions you can make. And what's interesting through this summit is one of the recurring themes is that people view physicians as only good at patient care, and then the stereotype is that they can't be good business owners or entrepreneurs, which is totally not true because once you develop that skill set and that knowledge base, then you can go out and branch off and influence other areas as a leader.
I love that. And Chris, just tell us how, without going too long, and we want to learn so much from you. I want to learn so much from you. Tell us how we can learn from you more. What kind of resources you have right now?
Yeah. So the number one way is just to contact me through email. It's at Christopher Liu, MD, PhD at gmail.com or LinkedIn. I have a lot of free resources on my YouTube page, a lot of prior podcasts, including this one. I'm always creating educational content. Other than that, there's the fastest and easiest way is all of my 4 books are on Amazon. So you can go there and download those and read those. You can always, I offer a package where if you sign up for an hour coaching with me, I give you those 4 books for free plus a my online course as well. But you can always purchase the books and the online course separately as well. But I always think that it's good to have a coach or a mentor who's been through it that can actually teach you step by step, and you can use the books and the online course as adjunctive information.
And I saw that you had a free book that you posted online recently. I think people are looking to see what that freebie is. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, that's I'm offering my a free promotion for my 3rd book. It's how to get started in consulting, and it's available until Thursday or so. But other than that, I'm also speaking at the Leverage and Growth Summit, so you can always contact me there. One caveat is that my books, the 3rd book for consulting isn't really focused on getting a position with Deloitte or McKinsey or Accenture. It's more geared towards becoming a freelance consultant. So, and it's also has a lot of bits and pieces of my story put in together as a sort of illustration to help you get motivated, inspired, and give you ideas. So it may resonate with some people, some others it may not. So just, that's my caveat to you.
Thank you. I think it's wonderful that you're giving that out. And lastly, what would you define? What are the 1 to 3 traits that you think are essential for a physician to be a great leader?
Oh, great question, Elsie. So I think to be a great leader, you have to have vision. So you have to have outside of the box thinking. It's a little bit different skill set than being a manager. You also have to have empathy. Just in the hardest times, you have to be able to communicate in an impactful but empathetic way, and be able to adapt, pivot, and shift to the changing marketplace. So
that's so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Wow.
Dr. Chris Loo, Loo. Thank you so much. And hopefully we're going to learn more from you in the future, have you back to share some more insights. Please reach out to him. He's got a wealth of information. Thank you.
Thanks, Elsie.